Alafia. Ekabo. Greetings, everybody.
Greetings.
Peace and blessings. I am HYGIENE Ray.
And I am HYGIENE Tegun Share.
And you are tuned in to the greatest
podcast
on the planet. Let's Talk IFA. We pray everybody is doing well. We greet you in the name of Olodumare, the ancestors, and all the Orisha, the Irumole. We give thanks and praise. Mm-hmm. Today's topic is holistic spiritual hygiene.
What does that mean?
Let's break this down. So holistic spiritual hygiene, right? You have four main areas, let's just say of life, that have to be tended to. And you cannot ignore any one of these areas, right? You have your spiritual, you have your mental, you have your emotional, and you have your physical. So these four aspects of life are all important in their own right, and they all work together, and none of them can be neglected.
Can't ignore them.
We were just having a conversation, and we came up with this topic, so we just felt like it would be beneficial to people, hopefully, to share some of the things that we were talking about and, just drop a few jewels. And again, this is based on our experience that as priests, where we get calls from people that need help with different things that's going on in life. So that's pretty much where we came up with the topic from today's show.
Yeah, I just think, and I feel that, with the spiritual, with the mental, the emotional, and the physical,
Benny,
that as humans, we are made up. We are all of those things we just mentioned, right?
Benny.
And so for the spiritual side of it, that is dealt with if you have spiritual issues or you need to be spiritually balanced somehow. That comes from one's culture,
right,
and its spiritual practices.
It's supposed to come from your culture.
It's supposed to come from your culture. The power of it and the root of it should come from your culture, because that's what you're made up. Everything that you're made up
it's your frame of reference.
It comes from your culture, right? Like you said, your frame of reference.
Supposedly.
Right. So a lot of times, with Alejo, with clients that we see, they call for different reasons. And a lot of times, or I would say probably most of the times, people don't understand when you're coming with a problem that's of the physical. You can do things to balance the spiritual that's going on, but you also got to take care of the problem in a physical way as well, right?
I see.
Just like emotional, you can make an eyeball to balance you out, emotionally, but you also got to do the work.
You got to put in some work. Yeah, it's not like magic. You got to put in some work.
You got to do that because it's cause. What do they say? Cause and effect.
Bending.
Right. So you can't just do the spiritual work and not take care of
and then
the
just
emotional
sit back and think
part of it.
Right.
You can't just sit and think that a batala or a shoe is going to all of a sudden make you mentally okay because you did the airball to take care of your mental problems. You got to do the action work that is required as well. So the holistic spiritual hygiene, that's making sure you gotta, when you dealing with spiritual issues or any one of those issues, you gotta do all the other parts.
You gotta do all the other parts. And that, that's the whole point. Like I have, like, case in point, for example, of course I can't mention names, but I have somebody, it's a female, and that was having problems, health problems, especially with their reproductive area, tumors, cysts, fibroids, those type of things, a few other issues. And so I was asking them, I said, all right, so let's talk about your diet. Do you eat dairy? Yeah, they eat dairy. Do you do like white sugar? Yeah, I do the white sugar.
Boy.
Do you do meat, like beef and pork and all that? They do the beef and the pork. And they're not cleansing or anything like that. I said, well, you need to change your diet. You need to drink more water. You need to do, a cleanse every 3 months, right? Quarterly. And it's a couple of supplements that you need to take for your overall health. I gave her some advice and some resources and a regimen of things to do. 2 months later, the same person calls me back. Baba, can we do an elbow to Oya for my health? I said, well, what's going on with your health? Is it the same thing? Yeah, pretty much. I said, did you make any of what about the conversation we had before? Did you make any changes to your diet, to your, any of those things? And they was like, no. Well, I was like, well, I don't need to take your money, for nothing. We don't need to do an elbow to Oya or anybody else. You need to make some dietary changes, and you need to, on the physical level, if you want to not be sick.
Did they ever do
Period.
it? Did they ever?
I don't think so.
Take their advice?
I don't know.
Because it's not gonna. Oya's not gonna change it like that.
You could do 20 elbows. You can do all the elbows. If you don't change,
just because Oya's the mother of change, don't mean you can do an elbow to Oya, and all of those health issues that you have going on
are just gonna go away.
It's just gonna go boom. It doesn't happen
because
like
you're causing them on a physical level for the most part. So you need to deal with that. Now, if you do that and then things still aren't going right, then, maybe we need to look into, okay, is there a spiritual component to it, which oftentimes there is, but that's the whole point. A
spiritual component.
That's the whole point, is that what we're saying is that this is comprehensive. It's, it's comprehensive is, what's the other word? It's holistic.
Holistic.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't focus on one area or two areas and neglect the other two. You have to participate and be present and be conscious in all four of those areas in order for things to work right in your life, to achieve that balance. It all works together.
Because you will have spiritual balance or harmony in your life when you have when you are dealing. I'm not going to say when you have dealt, because that's going to make it sound like, well, I did this for all of them and I'm good. Because this is a continuous thing. Taking care of your health is a continuous thing that you're going to continue to do throughout life. Yep. Each one of those things. All four of them. Each one of those things, it all has a spiritual component to it. So you're going to always be making some form of spiritual appeasement at the same time while you got a broken arm, and so you're gonna always be doing something. There's always a spiritual reason behind something. So let's cover that. We already know that's you're gonna deal with that spiritually anyway.
Right.
What you gonna do to make if you got a broken arm? You think you're just doing one airball and then your arm is gonna, all of a sudden your bones won't pop back in place? No, it takes time to heal.
Take time, you gotta
So
heal.
you gotta do the work to heal physically. When you got a physical broken arm or a leg or whatever, you gotta sit yourself down and allow yourself to heal. Now, as you sitting down and you doing the work to physically heal, you might go into doing some spiritual things at the same time, doing some mental work, you know what I mean? And all of those. So they're all married together.
It's all married together.
You got to do each part. Even when you come to the priest and you have an issue, you got to do all four of those parts if you're caught up in a situation.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. It's like you can't do one and expect everybody, all the rest of them to fall into place.
It's not going to work like that. Even IFA, during, you know, IFA will give you, IFA touches on all those points, right? It's obviously the spiritual because you're here for divination, but the advice, the taboos, the warnings, all those things, the guidance, all those things are touching on all four areas: physical, emotional, mental, right? Because you can't, you know, some people, let's take, for example, let's say you have, you got a bite or a sore or some type of wound on your body and it won't heal. And like normally it will heal, right? But this particular thing on your body is not healing and it's getting worse. Maybe it gets infected or it starts to spread or whatever. You've been to the doctor, you know, did everything the doctor wanted you to do. It's still not going away, right? It's getting worse and worse. That's a spiritual issue that you need to take care of spiritually. You need to get the spiritual foundation, find out what's going on, do what needs to be done spiritually, then go back and continue. Now, this time when you do the physical things to heal that injury, it will heal. You know?
Yeah, I had a client one time some years ago in Columbia, South Carolina. Not going to mention any names. However, she was in the hospital. And the doctors did everything. They tried to figure out what's going on, and they couldn't figure it out. So they told the lady, if you know somebody,
you better call them.
You better call them now because we can't find anything wrong. And the lady, she's sitting in the bed and she's sick. They couldn't find nothing wrong. So went up in there, did divination right there on the spot. Okay. We'll be back in a couple hours. Got to go get some spiritual things. Came back. I can't even remember how we snuck the black hen into the hospital, but we got it in there. And we did what we did, cleaned her off. We did the eyeball right there on the spot inside her room. When we did the eyeball, something came out of her mouth. It was a frog. Came out of her mouth. Somebody was doing something to the lady.
Oh yeah, no, that was some juju. Yeah.
So the next day, she got out of the hospital. She was fine. Whatever they readings, they was like, wow. Whatever happened, like she felt better. So in those cases, that's when you know something is spiritual. Like you said, the doctors can't find anything.
Yeah.
They're doing all of that.
You're doing everything physical you can. It's not working.
Nothing. Spiritual. It's a spiritual issue. Okay. Of course, at the same time, while it was a spiritual issue, she was able to get out the hospital. She had to do some necessary things to get her energy back.
And do, some physical things to get back right physically.
And take certain herbs and medicines to kind of get herself
now it'll work
energy.
Because the spiritual work's been done. So now the physical stuff that you're doing to get yourself back together, it'll work.
Right.
But in the absence of that, it won't work. It won't work. And if you don't know what to do, people die. Things like that happen all the time.
She had to do some mental work.
I'm sure.
And some emotional stuff because
that was traumatizing.
It was traumatizing. So she had to go through that phase.
So now you got to
get herself mentally and emotionally balanced.
Right.
Because of what happened. It was traumatizing. So perfect example was a perfect example of all the spiritual, the mental, emotional,
everything
physical,
working together.
She had to get herself back together.
Yeah. You got cases where, again, this is just from experience. A lot of people, especially in this country, we know this country is in a mental health crisis. So we get a lot of people, a lot of clients and people that have mental and or emotional problems, because a lot of times those two can go hand in hand. And
a lot of them are priests.
That's a different podcast. That's another podcast. So, in those instances, what do you do when you have certain problems and certain issues going on, mental or emotional, and you by yourself are trying. You've tried everything, everything that you know how to do. and things just aren't getting better, you have to seek that spiritual component, take care of it, then go back and continue to do whatever you're working on for the mental health and the emotional health, and things will start to improve once the spiritual aspect has been taken care of. And then the physical goes into play then too, because you gotta, what are you putting into your body? You know, are there things you can do to help your mental and emotional space? How you eat will affect your mental and emotional space, right? Exercising, like you said, that's physical, but that trickles over to your mental and emotional health, right? The exercise on the physical level, right? So it's all connected. And if you ignore any of it, it's going to be a problem. It's always going to be some type of imbalance. Our body is our temple. Our mind and our body is literally our temple.
When you exercise your body, you're stretching or whatever you're doing, you feel the spiritual effects of it. You feel more balanced,
empowered,
and empowered for that, you know, however many hours of the day, you know, after you exercise. I exercise, you know, generally in the morning, and then when I come back, I'm ready to get to my spiritual work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like I'm up and I'm ready. I'm energized. I exercise. My blood is flowing right to my brain. I can think a little clear. You know, now I'm ready to do whatever I need to do for whatever clients I had that day, with energy, with focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they all complement each other. Is you can't just do one part and not do the other.
You can't be a spiritual weirdo.
Right.
Just got a whole bunch of pots and you doing all these rituals and all this stuff, but you're not actually working on yourself, on those other aspects of yourself, because you so far gone with these pots and blood and airball and whatever else, cola nuts and whatever else that you're doing, that you totally are neglecting the other aspects of yourself.
Your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self. You're neglecting because you're giving everything you think. Because one thing we got to realize, like I always say, your body is a universe, right? The body is your universe.
Everybody's living inside their own universe.
Yeah, it's perfectly said in Ejiobe. When the head was the only one to crack the cola nut and became the head of the body. The head rules the body, right? If this is not right, and this is why we always say
everything else can't be right.
Before you do anything in the morning, you hold your Ori with both hands and you pray to your Ori. Then you get up and do what's next for the day, because you done prepared your head for whatever is going down for that day. You done prepared your mind. You done prepared your spirit. You know what I mean? You done prepared. Now you ready to do the physical part. Because you done did everything else in the morning. You appease your mental, your spiritual, your mental and emotional. Just appeasing your Ori alone. Now you're ready to get up and do the physical part. You know?
You know, and a lot of people just focus on the physical part and don't want to do anything, you know, spiritually. They think they can
they jump up and move, rapidly.
Just go.
Jump up out the bed and they gone out the door.
Their body is tight and they, you know, might be beautiful or handsome or whatever, and they working out and they got, you know, everything is on the physical level, but they're not paying no attention to
the
spirituality or to their mental and emotional health. You go cuckoo. You just you'll be a fine physical specimen, but your mind,
you look good on the outside, but you
broke down on the inside. Yeah, it's like a shiny car. You know what I'm saying? That's clean, and then you lift up the hood. There ain't no engine in there, ain't no transmission in it,
and you turn it on.
The car won't even. It look great, but as soon as you start it up, you know.
So, those is important to take care of the external as well as the internal. The internal and then the external.
Yeah.
Everything reflects whatever is going on inside, it's going to reflect on the outside.
Benny.
If your internals are all messed up, it's going to show
Eventually.
on the outside.
Eventually.
It's going to show. You know, if you putting bad food into your body, you are affecting, like you just said, you're affecting your spiritual.
Yeah.
You breaking it down. You affecting your mental. You affecting your emotional. You're gonna be emotionally imbalanced if you eating bad
Because
food.
based on what you're putting into your body, that's going to dictate your vibration.
Yeah,
the level of how you can you vibrate. Are you
poison
clear?
in your insides.
Yeah, can you
Poison in
think
your
clearly?
internal.
Are you grounded? Like are
you
you
focused?
always irritated and upset and frustrated and always crying about something? Like that's not not in balance. And food, physically, things can affect that. You know what I'm saying? It
Watch
all,
what you eating
all
out
works
here,
together.
because there's a lot of bad food out here. There's a lot of poison. You got watermelon without seeds. You got grapes without seeds. All of this
They got
stuff
a recall
is
now
genetically
on
engineered. And
peppers and just regular. Like you can't even go into the grocery store now and hardly buy vegetables without, so they just had a listeria outbreak or some type of outbreak where they just had a huge recall on like peppers and
that's a shame.
I think it's some lettuce and a bunch of other stuff.
That's a shame to you. That's a shame.
Yeah, we gotta grow our own food and we gotta do all that.
Humanity is under attack, and you got these big corporations and they behind all of this.
All they care about is that paper.
They care about that man-made
about
paper.
is that money. They in bed with the pharmaceuticals. So when you get sick, everybody eating.
Yep.
They don't care as long as they eating.
So I think the saving grace is your culture. Going back to your culture and your culture and its spirituality and its science, and going back to that. And that's the key to your survival out here, because it's not looking good out here with
it's
all
rough
this stuff.
It's a for everything that's negative, there's a positive. There's a lot of positive things going on out there too. So we just got to try to stay focused and remain positive on the positive side of things, because the thing is, you don't hear about the positive things enough also, because everybody reports on the negative stuff because that's what brings in views and ratings and all of that. So that's all people care about, you know.
They rather see something silly than something positive.
Or something negative. Something negative
or silly
resonates more with people. It gets more viewers, it gets more hits. It's just like social media, right? So now you have another toxin to deal with now, which is social
sickness.
Media.
That's for the mind.
Yeah.
That's affecting the mental
and emotional. Yep. Tearing these young girls up. Looking at IG and all them, the models and now their body. They got some terms for this. I can't remember the name of the terms, but it's basically when you see all these models or these IG chicks and these IG models or whatever, and then they end up having low self-esteem because they want their body to look like, whoever, such and such on social media, whatever, or whatever it is. It's
sexy.
Yeah, it's tearing our young women. It's tearing them up, like emotionally, mentally.
Well, a lot of them,
it's really detrimental for them.
A lot of them, as you know, as you said, low esteem because you want to look like this lady or this sister that has this beautiful body. You want to look like that, but guess what? They got something for that too. You can go get your butt done. You can go get your boobs done.
The microwave. That's what they're doing.
So they got something for you if you want to look like that. But in the long run, that's going to cause a sickness. Yeah. You have all these breast implants and these butts implants.
Stuff going.
It's going to last for a little bit. But as time go on, you're gonna have some problems.
I look at it like the same as the fast money rituals. It's you're willing to sacrifice your own body, your own health, sometimes even your own life, because all these people dying from these BBLs and these surgeries and all that, and our women just keep going to get them. I don't understand that, but you know, it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, another thing to look at too with this whole holistic spiritual hygiene is the people that you're dealing with, the energy, how you exchange energy throughout the day. You know, you could talk to somebody and be drained.
Let's talk about it.
And be drained after you talk to them. That's affecting you physically, mentally, and emotionally, because it's like, man, I need a nap.
Nap time.
Yeah, dealing with certain people that are just draining, and misery loves company. You know what I'm saying? So all this comes to play when you got to balance these things: your spiritual life, your mental, your emotional, and your physical.
Yeah.
You know,
because you got to always remember, you in the physical, you always moving. I hope people are up and moving, always moving. But you know who you're going to come into contact with when you walk up the street or you walk to somewhere and then you run into somebody and start talking and you're like, whoa. Like you said, all of a sudden,
you gotta be
out
ready.
of nowhere, you tired.
Yeah, like, wait a minute.
It took a lot of energy out of me talking to this person. This don't normally happen.
Yeah.
So
you got to see that, recognize it, and then make the adjustment, you know, or whatever you need to do there. It's real.
Yeah,
you know?
It's always, every day is a sacrifice to get up and do the spiritual, to do the mental, emotional, and
the physical every day.
Every single day of your life.
You're touching it every day, whether you realize it or not, whether you know it or not. You know, but you don't want to be without any one of those four things. You got to put in a little bit of work every day.
Every day.
Because you can't, neglect those things. It's just like praying for long life but not praying for good health. What's the point? If you alive but you a vegetable, if you alive but you too sick to enjoy life, you can't walk around, you too sick to get up, you can't eat nothing, there's no point in being alive, right? So wealth, wealth is, having everything you need to be comfortable. It's not a certain amount of money. People around you that love you, good health, long life, having enough money, not being in poverty, having money to do what you need to do to live in the world. All the things that make life worth living, are part of wealth. And when we say we pray for longevity, we want all the E-ray that accompanies that longevity to make things comfortable and to be
but you gotta
okay.
Do the work. To stay, to have
you gotta do the work.
You gotta do the work to have good health.
I say.
You got to do the work to have victory.
I say.
You got to do the work to have ire-aje, ire-ola, ire-owo.
Ire-ori.
Ire-ori is the first
because your emotions can take you over.
Yes.
And take you under. Your emotions can take you out of here. You can get upset about something can happen, and now emotionally you're affected, right? You could be upset, anger.
Right.
Frustration, hurt, betrayal, whatever that is. And then you presented with a choice when you in that state. And some people, they make a choice when they're in that state that affects them, not only them, but their family for the rest of their life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't get no do-over.
Yeah.
Some people just, you snap, right, in that moment. You know what I'm saying? As life is life and out here every day. So if you're not on top of that, what I'm trying to say is your emotions can get the best of you if you don't work on those things,
And I love our culture because, as we're talking about this subject here, it's like our ancestors created the days of the week, right? So you can do you want to do, and I'm sure probably a lot of people do something on a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical level every day. But you have those power days where you know, like Monday is Ojo Ajay. This is the day of action for business. This is the day to go to Ajay. And after you go and appease Ajay, you go out and get it.
I say.
You know what I mean?
The second part.
Right. The second part, the action part. You know, you just don't go in front of Ajay in the morning and say, give me money.
Lord, bring me the wealth. And then bring me the money.
And then you go back upstairs and hop in and jump in your cover. Don't work like that.
Or you just go to work and come back home, but you're not doing nothing different to get the money. To make more money or to make, you got to be making moves. You got to have a business or something.
Or just by going to Ajay before you leave your house to go get it, an opportunity might pop up.
Yeah, I say.
You might get a phone call about some new business venture, or you might go to your job and then boom, because of your hard work, your supervisor say, we bumping you up.
Benny.
You know, those are the things, those are the spiritual and the physical action
together. It's not gonna drop out the sky. I don't care how many sacrifices you do to Ajay or whatever, it's not just gonna drop out the sky.
Then you got Ogun on Tuesday, or Joy Shegun.
I say, the victory.
The day of victory. You know what I mean? Those days of the week, even the calendars of the Oshe,
Benny.
the Oshe days, all of those things kind of gives you, enlightens you on how to deal with all four of those.
All four. How to
in
swim
the proper way
with the current instead of swimming against the current.
Yes.
So you're able to exert less energy and be more efficient and have better results. So you can do less and get more.
Right.
When you're in synchronicity.
Ashe.
When you're in alignment, right? And when you're out of alignment, in any four of those areas, you know what I'm saying? It throws off the balance of the whole thing. You know, you got to have common sense.
Yeah.
You need to be spiritual. You know what I'm saying? You need to be grounded emotionally. You know, do you get upset easily? Do you fly off the handle? Do you get more upset over things that really aren't that big of a deal? Like, are you always upset or frustrated or in a bad mood? Well, guess what? You need to look in the mirror.
Sure.
You know, just accountability.
Yeah,
you know, all that's part of it.
Yeah, you got to take accountability for what's going on with you inside.
Yeah.
Outside. What's going on with your head. You know, we call these things on ourselves.
I say.
We're responsible for ourselves. And whatever is going on with us, whether it's good or it's not good, we are to blame.
We the
for
architect.
Things. We the architect of it.
We
the
initiated. We are the architect of our own misfortunes, and that's 98% of the time. There's some things that are not in our control that we have to deal with. That's part of life. But I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about other things that are in our control.
Right.
And because of our thinking,
you have choice.
Wrong thinking, right, leads to wrong speech, and it also leads to wrong action, which throws you off balance. You know, depression, anxiety, anger, frustration, whatever it is, you know, it can lead to those things. Let's call them those negative emotions. Those are all ajogun, you know.
But you have choice.
You have a choice.
That's one thing our culture teaches us, is that we have choice. You know, you can go to IFA. IFA gives you the whole prescription. You can either take it or you can leave it. It's your choice. We have choice here.
You can do part of it or whatever you choose to do.
Right.
But you got to deal with the consequences of that choice.
That choice. And if the Odu says stop smoking, if that's the air wall, is to stop smoking, stop smoking. If you're smoking, stop smoking. If you're not smoking and it comes up that you shouldn't smoke, 9 times out of 10, something may happen in your life where you can be like, you know what, I need a cigarette or I need a cigar because this is frustrating me. I just need something to smoke. You better remember that's your taboo because that one puff, you can choke and that can be it.
Yeah.
So is you have a choice. Everything that's going on with you is you that made it to be that way.
Part of it, yeah.
You know, it's on you. You know, I know sometimes you might be born into the world with issues, you know, and a lot of those things that's when you seek a lot of spiritual, you know, when a child is born and they have something, they come into the world with
they coming in here with karma, with karmatic debt, with spiritual debt, also with ancestral family issues that have been passed down within the bloodline, right? We come here with all those things because a lot of the things that are going on in our life now have to do with and are linked to our previous life or lives and what we did or didn't do.
And it
so
could
this
be
is just a continuation. And and you got that part. That part is in there as well.
Yeah. So you got to do the work to clean it up. You know, and it's a bit by bit process. But as long as you're doing the work, as they say, a journey towards 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Begins with the first step.
You know, when you take that first step, you know, you're already in the emotion of progress. You know what I mean? And the job now is to stay focused and persevere through each step you're going to take after that first. Yeah. You know, but you're going to see results every time you move forward. You're going to see the results. And that goes along with all 4 of these subjects we're talking about. Yeah. You know, the little that you do for each one of those things, as long as you focus and you continue to put in the work, the discipline, you obedient, you know what I mean? You're going to make progress. I say, guaranteed.
As much as possible. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect here. So I don't even like when people use that word. Oh, that's perfect. It's not perfect. Stop saying that.
There's no
nothing's
such thing.
Perfect here.
There's no such word.
Yeah, you get all worked up because the day wasn't perfect. Well, we humans, we here on Earth. That's not how it go here anyway. So you're setting yourself up for failure. Like we talked about earlier. Most of the time, humans are the architects of our own misfortune. This is a little bit, let's go a little bit deeper and let's unravel that a little bit, right? Let's use this as an example. You created an unrealistic expectation in your mind based on your worldview or based on the knowledge that you have at that point in time, right? And when the thing doesn't happen the way that you thought it out, now you're upset. Now you're frustrated you don't really know who. Are you frustrated at yourself? Are you upset at God or whatever because things didn't go the way you planned it? Well, that was your plan. You didn't check in with the boss. You didn't check in to see if your plan was in alignment with you.
Right. You didn't even see if that was the right, like you said, did you check in with, did you go to the mat?
Do you know how? For people that don't know, do you know how to check in with that? Right. So now you set yourself up for something and now you frustrated and upset and you sad and whatever and crying and emotionally distraught because of you.
Because you done conjured something up. Right. Now it didn't work out the way you wanted to. It didn't work out the way. Now you done conjured this frustration that's upon you now.
So when the foundation ain't right, nothing else can be right.
So now
When this isn't right, nothing else can be right. The Ori ain't right.
Right. It all comes back to you.
It comes back to you.
The plan that you put in motion, that plan didn't work out like you thought it was in here. So that's an illusion now.
That's an illusion.
Right? So now you call on this energy of frustration,
Why me?
Stress and depression.
I'm the victim. And
sorrow, pain.
Or you blame it on others. You blaming it on everybody else but you.
And now you didn't have the breakdown because what you thought was going to go the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
Now you having a breakdown because it didn't go the way you wanted to.
Yeah, most human suffering comes from our own mind. It comes from our own because
you created
because
that.
we don't have right thought. Like I said,
created
right thought.
Yeah,
we created that.
You created it.
Right thought, speech, and action. The first one is thought, Ori, your mind. That's where the thought is at.
Thought process.
So if thought is wrong, everything else that trickles down after that is going to be off.
But guess what? What if the thought is right? And you still did it, and it went wrong. Like you said, you didn't check in with the big man, with the big boss. The big boss.
If the thought is right, it should be in alignment with things. But sometimes, check this out. That's why you have to have faith. Because sometimes you can be doing the right thing for the right reason at the right time, and it doesn't go the way that you thought it was supposed to go. That's not always it. Sometimes things happen because either you being tested or you were supposed to see something else or learn something else from this experience that was going to elevate you even more.
But see, that's why IFA divination is so important.
I say.
Because you can come up with the plan. That's checking in with the big boss.
Right.
When you go and say, okay, I got this plan and I want to build this skyscraper. I have it in my mind. Let me go to IFA to see if it's the right time to do it. Let me see if this is even the right time. This is the right
thing to do, and is it the right time to do it?
If it's right for me to do it. Because you might come up with the idea, but it may not be right for you to do it. You might have to pass it on to somebody that needs to do it.
Somebody else, or you might have to bring in other people, or you gotta find out.
Right. So checking in to make sure the plan that came from your mind is in alignment with even your destiny.
Yeah. And like I said, sometimes you do the thing, but it doesn't go the way that you planned it. So you have to just be still and sit back in wisdom and try to figure out, all right, let me observe. Sometimes I observe things from the outside looking in.
Right.
I literally remove myself from my whole body, from the whole situation, and be looking in. Like, all right, what's going on?
What
here?
am I
missing? This ain't happening the way that that I thought it was gonna go, but let me find out what I'm actually supposed to be getting out of this, because it's not always presented straight in a straightforward way.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I find myself doing that a lot. It's like I remove myself from the whole project. Yeah. Just to stand on the side. Stand on the side and be like, okay, what am I missing here? Let me stand over here, because I don't stand over there normally, but let me stand over there and see if I can get a perfect view, and maybe I'll catch something if I look at it from this angle, or if I look at it from that angle.
Exactly.
You know.
But when you get stuck on yourself, you're not able to do that.
Right.
Because you so stuck on what you thought and what you wanted that you can't have the capacity to step back and be like, maybe I was, so I see the ego.
Part of that is ego.
The ego. The ego won't let it go.
Yeah.
So now, okay, maybe I was supposed to do this, and it was supposed to go left, or it was supposed to not work, so that I can see who such and such really is.
That's the struggle.
Or so that I can see, that I can learn this lesson that I was supposed to learn. I was supposed to do it, and it was supposed to not work this time. How about that?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the journey of your destiny. They say if you ain't failed at nothing, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't close enough to your success. You have to fail your way to your success.
Hey, that's a word that I don't even like neither. That word fail.
Yeah.
I think everything is like if you try something and may not work. Me personally, I don't look at it as you failed. I just look at it as, okay, you done gave some wisdom.
It's a lesson.
Take a little break and then go back and use that wisdom that you learned.
Right.
And try it again. Try it several times.
Right.
You might get it right the seventh time. But you're not failing, you're just gaining wisdom.
You're gaining wisdom. The only time you fail is when you keep doing the same thing. You keep repeating the same mistakes.
But if
you're
you
not
go about
learning
it,
from it.
If you go about it, if you tried running into this one wall and hitting in the same spot several times, and you keep knocking yourself out.
And you keep doing
so
it.
Now you didn't fail.
Yeah.
If you don't hit the wall and say, okay, that's not going to work at that angle, let me try this angle.
Let me try something different. As long as you're trying something different and you feeling like you're learning from it, there's not a failure.
It's growth.
That's growth.
It's growth. Because sooner or later, you're going to find the right spot to hit.
Yeah, look, listen, there's business people in this world that will not lend you money or invest in you or partner with you unless you have at least failed at least one business.
Yes, it is.
Because that's part of the journey.
You wise. It's the part of gaining that wisdom.
It's the part of gaining. You have to go through stuff. Stop being scared
to go through stuff.
To fail. No, people are scared to quote unquote fail. Because they worried about.
I think it's the word.
It is. They worried about other people. But that's the problem. They worry about what other people gonna think of them. I failed.
That word is
That's a powerful word. It'll stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because you'll be in paralysis of fear.
I don't even like that word.
Man, I'm telling you, boy, it's got a hold on people.
It's like people like you said, when you say that word, it's kind of like you feel it.
You feel it.
You're like,
people don't want to be quote unquote a failure. People don't want to fail. That is the thing.
Because I think it makes them feel like they dumb.
Like they dumb or they weak or people gonna look at them crazy or whatever.
And that's not true.
Nah, it's not.
It just means you got to try it another way.
It means you're doing something, and it means you're trying.
Yeah.
That's
the physical part.
You just ain't figured it all out yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's all four.
Mental toughness, bro. Yeah. Mental fortitude.
Yeah. The spiritual is what kind of keeps you faithful.
Right.
The mental keeps you focused. The emotional kind of keeps you balanced.
That might be the hardest one to deal with. That emotional piece. That might be the most difficult one for most people.
The emotional has taken precedence over the spiritual, the mental, and even the physical. Because the emotional, it's a lot of emotions running around wild out here, and that's where that mental sickness come in.
Yep, like you said, priest and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's emotionally, we not gonna be perfect, right? No such thing as that, but as a priest or a priestess, you should have some type of control. You should be stable. You should have some type of moderate. You should be pretty stable within your like with me or my brother here. When you see us today, you're going to meet us like this. When you see us next week, we're going to be like this. Next year, this is who we are and this is how we are. I'm not all the way high one day and then the next day I'm all the way low and I'm depressed. And then you see me in 2 months and then I'm like all over the place. Like that emotional piece, boy, is a doozy.
Hey, that's why I laugh.
It's a doozy.
I laugh.
You either laugh or cry. I'm not a crier.
Man. I'm not a crier.
You know what I'm saying?
I giggle like I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'll laugh just to keep that balance.
Just to keep the balance, keep your sanity.
Right. But guess what? Because like I said, the emotion is king right now.
King.
Right? The emotion is king.
It is.
But you just said something that clicked something in my mind.
Benny.
That kind of makes the emotional stable or more balanced. And that's being obedient. That's being humble. That's showing respect. That's being patient. You know, those things I like to call the codes of conduct of IFA. That's having order. That's following rules and laws. That's having morals and principles. Those are the things that I think keep emotion stable or keep the emotions in place.
Yeah.
Because of the emotions, as we see out here today, when you ain't got no culture, you running wild.
You running buck wild.
You going here, 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 and here. You're eating anything. That's why the black community got so many other, you got Chinese restaurants, you got Indian, all this stuff in the black community.
Bodies full of toxins and poison.
And you got our people going, they can go to the Chinese restaurant tonight. Tomorrow they go to the Indian restaurant. Next day you go to the Japanese restaurant. Next thing you know, you go to Burger King. Then you go to Church
That's
of Fried
what I'm tripping on. The fast
all
food and all of that. And the snacks.
The black community.
The snacks is poison.
But you won't see too many African restaurants or African food that's connected to our DNA and our soul and our spirit that make us feel good. We eating everybody else's stuff because we ain't got no culture. Yeah. When you got culture, you have culture teaches one how to think, act, and behave. What are you putting in your body?
What are you putting into your body?
You thinking right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of it is what people are putting into their bodies. How do you expect these young kids to be okay in school and to not act up in school with what some of them, their diet, with what they're eating? Yeah. Of course, they're gonna be hyper and they're gonna be emotional and they're gonna be jumpy and jittery and be all over the place and be, have an attitude or whatever. Look what they eating.
What's the African diet?
Yeah.
That's what we got to look at.
Food should be our medicine. Yeah.
Food should be your medicine.
So the school, we go back again. All this goes back to the Yoruba Royal Academy. All of this goes back to educating ourselves, educating our own children, because my son is 4. Ayo is about to be 5. He's going to kindergarten. And he go to school. It's like everybody else kids go to school pretty much all day. These are the things that they need to be learning now.
Yeah, these schools though.
Now.
These high schools and stuff, it's like playing Russian roulette when you send your kids to
you don't even know if you're going to be alive. That's number one with the shootings and all that. But the food, what they teaching them, in a lot of cases. All of that affects
everything we talking about, them topics.
The energy of all those kids that's in there that don't have no home training, and parents don't have no culture, no spirituality, so they in there dealing with them. All of them got smartphones. They watching whatever on there. You have to be very involved in raising your kids now if you want them to be balanced and be okay and be stable and be, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically okay. It's a job. You can't assign that job to school and to the TV. It's not going to work out that well for you unless you get lucky and you just had a real good child. But other than that, boy, it's rough.
Like I always say, education starts at home first. It doesn't start in the school.
The home training. That's why they call it home training.
Starts at home.
Right.
What you feed your child, it starts at home.
It starts, yeah. What are you saying to your child? What you saying
with your child starts home.
What is your child seeing? What are you showing your child?
That starts home.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything. If your child see you eating burger, but I couldn't believe I was on some social network. I think it was Facebook, and I saw this little baby, had to be about 2 years old. The parents had a big old plate with looked like them Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and a whole bunch of fries in front of the child. And they were showing it on Facebook like it was a cute thing. And I'm like, I know that 2-year-old ain't about to eat that. Philly cheesesteak sandwich with fries and stuff. Like, I'm like, whoa, like that's a lot
Yeah, that's
for
a lot.
a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is what they beating these kids
And
out
the
here,
and the
man.
diseases are coming younger and younger. You see our people, we have a problem with obesity. Why? Because mainly two things, because what we're eating and we don't want to work out.
Don't want to work out.
Remember we said you got to pay attention to all four. That's the physical. You want to look fly, so you'd rather go and pay thousands of dollars for a surgery to look physically good when you can just change your diet and work out.
Yeah.
You know
Give
what I'm
yourself
saying?
that time. You got to have time. Take the time out to do those things.
Take the time.
You can't just
not,
run to work and run to your 9 to 5 in the morning without at least doing 5 to 10 minutes of each one of those parts.
Yeah, you got to.
You know,
You really.
because if you're not doing that, you a slave.
Yeah.
You still a slave.
Yeah.
Because you just running out to this 9 to 5 to jump on the clock. And then you come back home, you're gonna be tired. So you're not gonna cook nothing healthy. You're gonna stop somewhere on the way back from work. You're gonna stop at a fast food joint, get you something to eat, and then you're gonna go take a shower and climb right back in the bed only to get back up and do the same routine again.
You know.
So you a slave.
And the powers that be, the people that run the country and the world and all that, people that got plenty of money and they don't have the same problems that we have, they know this. This whole 40-hour work week, working Monday through Friday thing is it's not a traditional concept. This is a newer concept and a construct that is designed to keep you from participating in each one of those four things every day.
That's that metropolis syndrome, city type.
It's designed to just keep you in a rat race.
That comes from Europe.
Yeah.
That's because even in the ancient times, the Europeans had that concept set up like that. You know what I mean? That kind of city type, you know.
They just want you to go to work, pay your taxes, and go to the football and the basketball game, be entertained, go party and go drink and eat what you want. And the government can do whatever they want and just basically control people and just manipulate and do what they do.
Yeah.
Because if you busy working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week every week, when are you going to have time to get free?
That's what I'm saying.
To be spiritual, focus on your spirituality and all that stuff. You can't.
Because if you work in those type of hours, you better be able to tap in on each one of those things to survive.
Yeah, because you
that 9
turn
to
into
5 will
like you
kill
said,
you.
Turn into a zombie.
It'll kill you.
I know plenty of them. The Matrix is real.
It's real.
I see them every day. You know, they work until they whatever 65 and 70, and then I guess their idea of life after that is just to do
walk around with their dog, man.
Walk
with their dog. You know, on the leash, carrying a polar dog. You know, and that's life. You know, it's like
that's it.
I've retired. I get to walk through the neighborhood with my dog.
50 years for this job. They gave me a little watch and a plaque. Told me thanks for your service. You know what I'm saying? A couple dollars, a little package or whatever. By the time you pay taxes on that, now you got to go look for a part-time job now.
Because you still got to pay taxes on when you retire.
Right. Or you don't know what. Oh, by the way, holla at me, Sean Lee Financial. If you don't want to pay taxes when you retire, talk to me. But anyway, yeah, man, like, you know, people, they've been going through life as a zombie so long. Once they get free and they retire,
they don't know how to get free.
They don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah. They go right back to, I got to go get me a job. I'm retired, but I still need my meds.
I need something to do. Well, I got plenty to do. You know.
Yeah.
Being free starts here.
Mentally,
spiritual.
It's spiritual.
Here. It's funny because
emotional and physical.
Yeah, the first two, the spiritual and the mental, are all here. And then the emotional and the physical is the rest of the body.
The heart and that
and everything else that you're doing.
Yeah, it's wow.
But man, we want to take a minute to appreciate everybody, all our viewers, all our listeners. Let's Talk IFA. We have the merch out. Look out for that on all the social media platforms. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. We got some new things coming soon.
Coming at y'all.
The podcast is growing, and we thank y'all. We want you to hang in there with us and grow with us. We will be doing things as we stated before. This is not just for us. This is for the benefit of our families, our whole community, and
our children,
the
next generation,
and the Yoruba nation.
Not
only in the United States, but across the world and the whole diaspora, linked up with Africa. We have to build institutions. We have to leave a legacy and our mark on this world. We have to make it better for these children. We got a lot of work to do. So stay tuned, because we're going to be doing a lot of things that we're going to need your help with.
And I just wanted to say this before we close out. Let's stop feuding with each other.
Please.
It's like, we got to stop this Isheshe versus Lukumi versus Oyotunji versus Condomble versus Santeria versus whatever else.
Hoodoo
versus voodoo. Whatever. Because it's bringing us back to the whole Christian concept. Let's stop, because our work is so heavy. We have a big responsibility to our children, to our youth.
Benny.
These different cultural practices are there for us to learn from each one of them, not to put each other down or to look superior over someone or some group. No, it's for us to learn. We have to learn all of this.
Why.
Isheshe is tradition. Every one of those Lukumi, Condomble, Santeria, Oyotunji, and Hoodoo, all of those are Isheshe in their own right. So let's stop this feud and get back to learning from each other. That's the beauty of this culture.
Why. Talk less, learn more.
Yes.
Each group has its clowns in it, and each group has its serious people with good character, with good intentions. So let's just link up with like-minded people, no matter which group you belong to, still sharp and still.
Yeah, and build. And let's do the physical building work, because we need more towns. We need to house our people. We need our children. When our children take these possessions that we are holding, when our children become chiefs, we want to have something in place, so we don't have no time. Yes, those people who push that agenda of I'm from Isheshe and I'm more stronger than you, those are the ones you got to look out for. They're like the spies, or they are plants trying to basically distract.
Yeah, to keep everybody from being united. All the good people in whatever group you in, let's unite.
And when you run into me, don't come talking that my people was from, and if I see your head going up like you, I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you. It come to me on the level of let's learn from each other. Let's work together.
Benny.
Then I can mess with you. But if I see you on that, I'm more Isheshe than you and all of that.
Yeah.
When you see me walk away from you, that means I'm not messing with you, because I'm not on that. We're about building.
Benny.
That's it.
Why. Okay. We have reached the conclusion of another episode. I am HYGIENE Jimini.
I am HYGIENE Tegunshe.
And you are tuned in to the greatest
podcast
on the planet
Earth.
Let's Talk
IFA.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Odabo.
Odabo.
Ire lopo lopo.
Lopo lopo.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Until next
Rebobo.
time. Odabo.
Odabo.
Ashe wa.
Ashe wa.